All right, we still have Dr. Abiola in the studio and we are discussing child marriage. You can also join the conversation on Twitter. Follow at TVC Women's World using the hashtag #StopChildMarriage. Now, a few years back, the media was agog with the news of a Nigerian senator's marriage to a 13-year-old Egyptian girl. Take a look at this.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam married Sayyidina Aisha radhiyallahu anha at the age of 9. Therefore, any Muslim who marries a girl of 9 years and above is following the teachings and practice of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If there is anybody who will tell me that what you did contradict Islam, I will say I will submit and I will do whatever they ask me to do. The Constitution of Nigeria has guaranteed freedom of religion, total and absolute. Therefore, if there is any law that contradicts this provision of Constitution, as far as I'm concerned, I'll go for Islam.
Well, Dr. Abiola, you just saw that clip. What do you make of that?
Well, I disagree with him entirely. One, yes, the Constitution of Nigeria allows for freedom of religion, but it does not also allow the Senate to discuss religion on the floor of the House. It's one of the things that is not within the confine of the power of the Senate to talk about, particularly the issue of customary marriage or any marriage that Islamic law issue. It's not allowed. So by him bringing that out, has also actually violated the Constitution, and that's one issue. The other issue is also the fact that there's no consensus on his postulation that it's recognized under Islamic law. There's no consensus. We have had several other Islamic clerics also saying that that is not correct, that what the religion only talked about is the right of a man to consent his daughter to marriage. So I think that there are debates about it, and I think it's a lone voice.
Okay, if you say it's a lone voice, what about many others who have the same notion of Nyerimas out there? Don't you think that they also have the backing, as it were? With the
I think it's more of ignorance. I think it's more of ignorance, and I think that what we need to do is to get more people to create awareness around this. I think the reality actually would not allow this kind of argument to stay. You know, because this is more or less, this is a human rights issue. It's an issue that has to do with development. We can't continue keeping young girls in the homes and also spoiling their potential, you know, to be able to make headways in life. It can't work. It can't work for our economy. It can't work for the children's health. And that's why we have that poor record of maternal mortality. And that's why, if you look at the statistics that we have, over 20,000 young girls visit the VVF hospital on a yearly basis. So where are we? Where are we? So we can't continue. This argument cannot hold. For the sake of Nigerian children, the argument cannot hold. And we also have a Child Rights Act, you know, in Nigeria, which also talks about the issue of who is an adult. So there are other laws that are complementary that we can see. And that's why I'm saying that the Constitution should not discuss the issue of marriage. The issue of marriage should be discussed by other subsidiary laws, and that's the argument. So the argument for the deletion of 29(4)B is that it's ambiguous. It can lead to misapplication, which is what it's doing, and it's just there. It's just there, and what we need to do is to just argue for the deletion, and that was why the Senate committee, having considered the discussion from Nigerian people, came up with the proposal for the deletion.
Okay, aside from the deletion now, because apparently at the deletion of this section of the Constitution is going to go a long way to ensure that child marriage doesn't see the light of day. But, you know, it's in northern states of Nigeria, they are yet to sign the Child Marriage Act into law because of one or two beliefs in the systems, you know, and all that. But what about all those people who are yet to see the true meaning of what this is? Especially when we go to the streets, we have lots of campaigns, we have rallies and all this. Does it just end at that? Do we just have rallies and campaigns and we don't have any strong cognitive step to take to end this child marriage?
No, I think that on this issue we need to be very strategic as Nigerians. We need the votes of those who have voted against child marriage at the Senate, because we are in a democratic space, and it's important for us to have the votes to be able to move forward. We need to do a lot of awareness creation. We need to create awareness to let people understand why this cannot hold, why this argument cannot hold at this point. And also to understand the fact that the discussion at the Senate on that day was not on child marriage per se, that what that discussion was on renunciation of citizenship, and that the Constitution cannot discuss the issue of marriage. While if we leave Section 29(4)(b), it is clear that one of the negative effects is that somebody somewhere can pick up that section, that provision in Section 29(4)(b), and lay claim to the issue of child marriage. And we should, and that's why people argue and insist that we should delete it, because it will misrepresent the issue, it will be misapplied, and as it is now, it's tautology. If we have 29(4)(a) determining who is a child, and saying that anybody who is of full age, it should be at the age of 18. So why do we need Section 29(4)(b) that talks about? So it's also discriminatory. Okay. It's not talking about unmarried men or married men, but it's also just talking about married women. So which means it's specifically addressing a particular gender, and that is very dangerous for our democracy in Nigeria, and also for the girl child in Nigeria. Okay. One of the things we need to know is that we need to know what if there is no child marriage in Nigeria. So what are the benefits? There are several benefits. So let us look at the benefits. You know, we will have children as illiterates. Okay. You know, we have the Nigerian girl to become what we want them to become, to lead this country, to change the state of this country. So there are a lot of benefits. There are health benefits. There are benefits, social benefits, something that can also benefit economy, you know, and overall the development of this nation. So I think that we need to begin to put the argument straight, and I think it's not about shaming and naming. Yes, we've done the shaming. Yes, we know who has voted and who has not voted. But rather it's to say that this is an issue, this generation should stop child marriage, and we should all work towards it. And yes, we should continue with the protests. Okay. We should continue with the media talk. Yeah. We should also continue with that scientific strategy that we need to do to ensure that we get the votes at the Senate.
All right, now there have been widespread reactions from Nigerians, both on the street and on the social media. Everyone is talking about this. Let's see this.
At first, it seemed like a silly joke. But after I saw the videos and read the reports, especially on Senator Yerima, I was furious. I cannot believe that such a barbaric and extremely degrading issue will be discussed by the Senate in a country like Nigeria that is described as the giant of Africa.
Interest. People can go to any limit, to any extent, to carry out their madness. For me, it's madness. And I think all Nigerians should stand up and fight against this madness.
Age of 18 is ripe for marriage, but anything below 18 is not good at all. Our government should think over it and then readjust.
This is injurious to humanity, it is injurious to the girl child, it is injurious to our nation, and we would not allow it to pass through.
A child is a minor. You cannot consent a 5 or a 12-year-old child for marriage. It's unheard of. I mean that's a criminal offense in civilized countries.
Right, you're still watching Women's World. Now, I still have our guest, Dr. Abiola, right here with me in the studio. What happens to girls now who are already in such marriages?
Well, as it is now, what we actually need to build on is to have some kind of institutional support for them. One of the challenges of being in that kind of marriage is that you don't have the ability to speak out, and that's why we find very few of them, you know, come out, speak out against this kind of marriage. So because of that, then there's a problem in terms of even knowing those who are there, and that's why you see that we don't have an accurate data in Nigeria of how many children have been married off, you know, on a girl child have been married off on daily basis. So there's a problem with that. So we need to, the Ministry of, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs the Ministry of Women Affairs in the states, and also organizations working particularly in the northern part of Nigeria, and also in places where this is happening. Actually, it's not only in the north anyway, it's also happening in some other places, big cities like Lagos, that we would not even think it's happening. So in places where this is happening, let's people know who they can talk to. It's very important for the girl child to know who they can talk to.
And who are those people they can talk to?
Well, they can talk to civil society organizations, non-governmental organizations that are working on girl child's rights, that are working on women's rights. They can talk to human rights organizations. They can also work to the Social Welfare Office of the Ministry of Women Affairs. There are also other institutions in different states that people can talk to. I think what we also need to do is to have more male and female champions over the country who are also canvassing against this kind of marriage, and I think that would to a large extent help. I think also in terms of how do we address the national problem that the discussion of Senator Yerima has actually cost us. I think one of the things we need to do is to go back from north to south to our different constituency. Try to talk to our senators. Try to get them convinced to know that we cannot continue to vote for child marriage in Nigeria, and that because Section 29(4)(b) can be misapplied to mean support for child marriage, that our senators should go back and vote. The meeting that some elder statesmen and women and civil society organizations had with the Senate President and the leadership of the Senate, they said they would be interested in going back to take the vote again. But we need to help them to get the senators who had voted against. And if you look at the way the vote actually went, initially the senators did not vote to support the retention of 29(4)(b). It was later on that the campaign and canvass by the senator came up that they changed. So which means that in the real sense, it was not really a popular vote. So let's see what we can do as Nigerian citizens who had voted, quote unquote, those people in those constituencies, into power in those constituencies. What can we do when we go back to our constituency to demand of them? Yeah.
We'll have to thank you very much. A Woman's World is taking a stand against child marriage, and it is not just for now. We are saying if she's not old enough to vote, then she's certainly not old enough to be a bride. Join our campaign on Twitter and Facebook. We'll also be having a rally against child marriage soon, and we invite you to be a part of it. Of course, Dr. Abiola will be also a part of it. The campaign against child marriage must not fizzle out. Thank you, Dr. Abiola, for being a part of this program.
You're welcome.
And that's all we have for you today. Remember, child marriage is a violation of every girl's fundamental human right. Tune in next time for another episode of A Woman's World. I'm Esther Mokbariela. Bye for now.